Hello, everyone. This is Kathy Shaft. I'm a principal telecom engineer with Great River Energy. I've been working for GRE for, I think today is actually my 16-year anniversary, so it's been a while. Next slide, please. So this slide is just to give a quick overview of GRE Service Territory. You can see we cover about 2/3 of the state of Minnesota, and this is showing our 28 member cooperatives throughout the state and just where they're located. Next slide, please. So we recently completed an upgrade to our system at the end of last year. Prior to that, we had been operating a VIO network, which we started installing back in 2006. VIO went out of business in around 2011, and so we were self-supporting the network since that time, and the equipment was getting, we were running out of spare equipment, getting outdated, things were failing, so we had to upgrade. So we chose MHz as our provider, our vendor for the new network. The map that I'm showing here shows the location of our base stations. So we have 60 towers that cover our territory. Most of them are 3-sector sites, and we cover about 470 substations. I'm not showing those on the map, it just gets to be too crowded. We're using the network for our SCADA traffic and metering. Our 28 members, the majority of them are also using the network to backhaul their traffic, and we also use it for remote access for our field staff. We're using 50 kilohertz channels with this new network. Our old system was using 330 kilohertz channels, and with that limited amount of channels, we experienced quite a bit of ducting issues on the old network, and now that we've moved to smaller channels, it's made a huge difference in mitigating that problem. As I mentioned actually I didn't. I said we had our VIO system, but we have been leasing the spectrum up until this point, and we are planning to purchase the spectrum in Q4 of this year. One of the challenges that we ran into when upgrading our network was that since we were already using the 700 band and all of it, we were using the entire channel. For the VIO system, we had to figure out a way to cut over to the new system and mitigate the amount of downtime for our SCADA traffic. So what we did is we installed Cisco 829 routers at all 470 of our substations, and that router has a built-in SIM card slot, and so we used that, activated Verizon as a backup path so that anytime there was a disruption of service on the 700 network, that router would just automatically fail over to the cellular network. So that enabled us to change out antennas throughout the system at both the base stations and the remotes. And while those antenna changes were happening, everything would just fail over seamlessly to the cellular side, and there was hardly any impact to our system operations. They'd see a little blip, and then communications would be back up. That's also what we used when we were cutting over. We cut over by channel, so we had those 3 channels. So we started with the first channel, that was December of 18, where we cut over 1/3 of our network to the new MHz radios. It took us about 8 days to go all across the state and install all of those radios at both the bases and the remotes, get them up and running. During that time, those radios were failed over to the cellular network. Then once we got the MHz radios up, then we had actually 2 systems running. We had 2/3 of the network running on the old system, and then 1/3 of it running on the MHz network. And then at the end of 19 is when we finished cutting over everything else. And so now we're all fully cut over, been running since the end of 2019 on this new system, and things have been going well. So that is my update.